So what makes Organogold coffee so special? Real simple. They're all infused with a very potent ingredient known as Ganoderma lucidum. Ganoderma is a mushroom considered to be one of the most exceptional plants on the planet. It's an orange, shiny-capped, almost supernatural-looking mushroom. Ganoderma has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for more than 2,000 years, making it one of the oldest mushrooms to be used medicinally. In ancient times, Ganoderma was reserved only for the Chinese emperor and his court, the ruling classes, the wealthy, monks, and sages. It was regarded as the medicine of kings. And believe it or not, it was punishable by death for anyone in the lower classes who used it. That is how highly regarded it was by the powers that be. These privileged few drank teas and concoctions made from the Ganoderma mushroom, prized for its highly desirable benefits. Even in Asian cultures today, Ganoderma is associated with health, well-being, longevity, wisdom, and happiness. Ganoderma is considered an adaptogen and is classified as a superior tonic herb in traditional Chinese medicine. In fact, it has been recognized by practitioners of traditional Asian medicine for centuries as the highest ranked of all herbs found in the Chinese Pharmacopedia, and so it is known as the king of herbs. Dr. Shi Zhongli, the most renowned doctor of the Ming Dynasty, strongly endorsed the effectiveness of Ganoderma in his famous book, The Great Pharmacopedia. In it, he wrote that long-term taking of Ganoderma will build a strong, healthy body and ensure a long life. Now, obviously, nothing can assure a long life, but he evidently thought very highly of the importance of taking Ganoderma regularly. Ganoderma was highly prized in China because it was believed to promote radiant health, increase youthful vigor and vitality, and harmonize the functions of the mind, body, and spirit. Ganoderma was so highly regarded in Asian culture, it was called all sorts of interesting names, like the supernatural mushroom, the mushroom of immortality, the elixir of life, the great or supreme protector, the plant of longevity, and the most high divine treasure mushroom plant. These are modern-day translations, so the actual meanings are open to interpretation. In ancient times, Ganoderma was also routinely used by monks, Taoist adepts, and spiritual seekers throughout Asia. They believed Ganoderma would strengthen and refine a person's inner life, and as a result help build wisdom and provide spiritual attainment. They also believed it helped develop profound mental and spiritual insight and would improve one's life the more one used it. It was especially noted for the calm and peacefulness that accompanied its use, and that the effect of its power was cumulative. It was believed that Ganoderma possessed soul power and would nourish the spirit. The Chinese considered Ganoderma miraculous, sacred, spiritual, and divine. To them, it was the ultimate spiritual herb. As a result, one of Ganoderma's names translates as the herb of spiritual potency. It was also known as the sage's mushroom, the divine herb that energizes the life force, the spirit plant, and God's herb. The Divine Farmer's Classic of Materia Medica was the first book wholly devoted to the description of herbs and their medicinal value. It was written during the East Han Dynasty, 25 to 220 AD. It is considered one of the three foundational books for traditional Chinese medicine. Among its unique attributes, it was written of Ganoderma that if eaten customarily, it will lighten your body, and that Ganoderma has spiritual power and will develop your spirit so that you will become a spirit being. And with all the testimonials we receive from our customers telling us how great our coffee makes them feel, maybe the ancient Chinese thought that feeling good makes you a spirit being. In the 1500s, Li Shizhen wrote in the Compendium of Materia Medica that Ganoderma positively affects the life energy, and taken over a long period of time, agility of the body will not cease. Today, Ganoderma is the most famous of all medicinal mushrooms and is by far the most heavily researched. Because of its rich history and long tradition of use, Ganoderma is now one of the few mushroom species whose DNA has been fully sequenced. 16,113 genes. More than 400 different bioactive compounds have been identified thus far. Ganoderma has become known by modern science for its potent antioxidant properties, and antioxidants have a wide range of health benefits. According to the Encyclopedia of Natural Medicine, Ganoderma contains one of the highest concentrations of antioxidants of any known food on Earth. So how is Ganoderma different from other Ganoderma? Well, the specific type of Ganoderma that is so highly prized by Chinese herbalists and is used by Organo is unique in that in the wild, it only grows in certain trees or logs and only in a few regions around the world. Finding a Ganoderma mushroom in the wild today is rare and is considered a sign of good fortune by the Chinese. Ganoderma is now primarily cultivated. This Ganoderma mushroom is native to the densely forested Wuyi Mountains in China. These large, spectacular mushrooms with their distinctive shiny orange caps and long brown stems grow naturally in the wood of maple trees or sprout out from logs along the forest floor. The vast Wuyi Mountain region is considered by leading agricultural experts and scientists to be the ideal place in the world for cultivating the highest quality Ganoderma due to its climate and geographic conditions. This vast remote area is at a high altitude and cold, so it has the right temperature where these mushrooms thrive best, as well as the ideal amount of sunshine and rainfall. The surrounding virgin forest area is pollution-free and far from civilization. It is naturally pristine, perfect for growing consistently potent and pure Ganoderma. Our Ganoderma is grown on over 100 large-scale organic farms like this one pictured here. Each Ganoderma growing area is approximately only 300 square meters. Cultivation sites are chosen based on some very stringent criteria. They must have the ideal soil for growing Ganoderma, proper ventilation, and each farm must have access to pure mountain spring water. The soil, water, and even the air are thoroughly tested to ensure a clean and safe growing environment. Growing conditions are strictly controlled as well. There are no chemical fertilizers, pesticides, growth hormones, or genetic modification of any kind used in the growing of our Ganoderma. Even weeding and insect removal is done by hand. To ensure the highest quality Ganoderma, they are only grown undisturbed on sustainably harvested, aged maple trees cut into logs, buried in rich forest loam soil, and then irrigated with pure mountain spring water. Our Ganoderma are not allowed to grow on a log for longer than 1 year to ensure ample nourishment for each mushroom, and after 2 years of cultivation, every growing area is left fallow for 3 years so the soil has the proper time to rejuvenate. Growing Ganoderma in natural wood logs is the most complex form of cultivation, but it produces large red Ganoderma of superior quality. The process involves first cultivating high-quality Ganoderma fungi strain from our own organic Ganoderma spores. Spores are the Ganoderma seeds waiting to pollinate. The germinating spores are then placed into drilled holes of selected high-grade, sustainably harvested aged maple logs. The logs are then buried under nutrient-rich forest loam soil. During this growing period, the Ganoderma absorb almost all their nutrients from the soil. Growing conditions require continual monitoring to ensure the highest quality Ganoderma. The Ganoderma is harvested at its peak of maturity, which is typically around 5 to 7 months of age. Now, these strict growing methods ensure the highest quality certified organic Ganoderma in the world, even superior in quality to what can be found naturally in the wild, and far superior to Ganoderma cultivated in plastic bags. Most commercially grown Ganoderma is grown indoors and it's cultivated in plastic bags without sun, soil, rain, or spring water, a non-organic method and obviously a very inferior option. The plastic bag-grown Ganoderma is far removed from the natural log harvested process. It's harvested 3 times a year, which means it doesn't go through its natural growth cycle needed for optimal growth and potency. And the valuable mushroom spores cannot effectively propagate, making plastic bag harvested Ganoderma significantly less potent. That's because it's what happens at the end of the growth cycle that makes Ganoderma so valuable. It starts to produce a baby powder-like substance called spores. This is how the Ganoderma reproduces itself, and it is those spores that literally make Ganoderma worth more than its weight in gold. These spores are used to generate the next generation of Ganoderma. This natural log growing method is far superior to the plastic bag grown method. Organo will only use Ganoderma that has been organically cultivated outside in nature as it has grown for thousands of years. The result is a large, beautiful, healthy, organically grown Ganoderma. For potent and pure Ganoderma, it is critical that it be organically grown. Organo Ganoderma is EcoCert and USDA certified organic. It is also kosher and halal approved. Our cultivation process is patented, and our manufacturing practices are GMP certified as well. Organo has an exclusive partnership with the largest certified organic Ganoderma plantation in the world that only produces 100% certified organic Ganoderma. Their $240 million state-of-the-art processing facility is located near where our Ganoderma is cultivated. Once harvested, the Ganoderma's shiny, vivid orange caps and nutrient-rich stems are taken to the facility, where our highly trained scientists and agronomists, using a patented process and cutting-edge technology, gently dry, sterilize, and process the mushrooms, transforming the tough, woody mushroom caps and stems into a very fine, flavorless powder. This imperceptible powder then easily adds to Ganoderma's amazing properties to our gourmet coffee and tea. This powder also does something else to all our coffee products. It makes them taste better, which is somewhat of a paradox because Ganoderma by itself is a bitter mushroom. So while it's highly desirable for use in Chinese herbal medicine, it's not something you'd want to add to your food. But the way our Ganoderma is processed, it not only removes all the bitterness from the powder, it also allows the powder to absorb much of the bitterness from the coffee, too. That's the reason for the flavorful yet smooth, decidedly non-bitter taste of Organo coffee products. And the way that the Ganoderma is processed also allows the coffee beans to more readily absorb the beneficial components of Ganoderma, which has been found to help activate the human immune system. So not only does Ganoderma remove the bitterness from coffee, enhance its flavor and nutritional value, it can help stimulate the immune system. That makes Organo an exclusive coffee that has all the benefits of this proprietary, cultivated, and process-patented 100% certified organic Ganoderma in every sip. And it means Organo coffee has all the benefits of this amazing mushroom, but none of the bitter taste. Organo would not be where it is today without this unique treasure of life, our 100% certified organic Ganoderma. Our proprietary grown and processed king of herbs is our biggest differentiator and separates us from not only every other Ganoderma company in the industry, but also from every other coffee company in the world as well. And this has made Organo the world's leading brand of 100% certified organic Ganoderma. How did Organo crack the secret of Ganoderma spores? Well, Ganoderma is the incredible mushroom that's at the core of all Organo gourmet coffee and tea beverages, but it's the spores that are at the core of the greatness of Ganoderma. The most potent part of Ganoderma, the spores, refer to the seeds of the mushroom, which we harvest at the peak of their potency. These tiny spores are a mere 5 to 8 microns in diameter. The spores, which can only be harvested when the Ganoderma is grown naturally, provide the richest source of Ganoderma's naturally beneficial compounds. In fact, the spores are nutritionally richer than the Ganoderma mushroom in many key bioactive nutrients. The spores are considered amongst the most important of rare antioxidant sources. How these spores are treated by scientists at our processing facility is an exclusive, patented process that is the secret behind Organo very special Ganoderma spores. The Ganoderma mushroom matures after 5 to 7 months to release numerous spores through minuscule pores present at its base, and when it does, it will release spores in the most amazing array of nature. The spores are released from the underside of the mushroom and cover the entire mushroom within a few minutes. Within a few hours, the entire microenvironment is covered by spores. And the spores, which are a powder-like substance, are carefully collected by hand from the Ganoderma mushrooms using special brushes. When looked at under a microscope, these spores have a protective shell that prevents the nutrients from being able to penetrate a human cell. Spores are impossible for humans to digest due to their hard coating. So they must be cracked to open and yet not spill out their precious and microscopic contents so that our digestive system can absorb the potent quality of spores. These spores are highly prized for their nutritional properties. The shell of the Ganoderma spore is as hard as the shell of a coconut and requires special care to crack open and capture the spores at the right time. Chinese scientists working for Organo spent years figuring out how to crack the outer shell without damaging the valuable nutrients within. Upon successfully cracking the outer shell, the scientists were surprised to find a second inner shell and spent several more years researching how to meticulously crack that inner layer to release the most important part of the spore. The scientists wanted to make sure they were attaining the maximum possible nutritional benefits from these precious Ganoderma spores, so they developed a patented shell-breaking technology and continued testing and testing until they achieved an amazing cracked shell rate of 99.9%. When you compare Organo's 99% success rate to conventionally grown Ganoderma that claims to produce spore powder, which at its very best rarely hits the 15% mark of cracked shell spores, and at its worst can contain as little as 2% or even 0 cracked shell spores, you can see that the 99% success rate for the shell-broken spores of our Ganoderma spore powder is a revolutionary scientific discovery. And with plastic bag-grown Ganoderma, there is absolutely no possibility of spores being produced because the Ganoderma's natural growing cycle is cut significantly short. Ganoderma spores are extremely expensive to produce, in part because they are harvested by hand, and harvesting them must be timed just perfectly, and because how the spores are opened can significantly impact the quality of the spore powder. Plus, it takes almost 1,000 pounds of spores to make just 1 pound of our spore powder, which is why our Ganoderma spore powder is worth more than its weight in gold. Now, because of our patented shell-breaking technology, Organo's 99.9% cracked shell Ganoderma spores are an incredible proprietary ingredient that is delivered in such a way no other company in the world can. No company anywhere on the planet has anywhere close to a 99.9% crack rate spores. Most are in the 0 to 15% range but are not even consistent with that. And this amazing spore powder is available in our exclusive proprietary King of Coffee. The King of Coffee is a premium, gourmet, certified organic coffee with our 100% certified organic Ganoderma spores for those aiming to be at the pinnacle of good health. No coffee in the world can even come close to our King of Coffee, and that is why it is the King of Coffee and the favorite of many of our most discerning customers worldwide. Most people think Organo Premium Organic King of Coffee is smoother and more potent than the gourmet black coffee. Even at double the price per cup, this is the only coffee many of our customers will drink. The best way to compare the two is the gourmet black coffee is smooth like jet fuel, and the premium organic King of Coffee with organic spores is an even smoother rocket fuel. Our customers feel like the King of Coffee is smoother, more potent, and with cleaner energy. It's hard to describe, but once you try the King of Coffee, you will definitely notice the difference. So experience for yourself what makes all our Organo Gold coffee, mocha, and latte beverages so uniquely amazing. Just try the coffee. You will be very glad you did. That's guaranteed.